coming, everybody. And we want to fill you in on a lot of the great changes. And first of all, I just want to say thanks to everybody for your flexibility and your positive attitude and kind of rolling with the flow as we go along here, because it was kind of late in the season as we started to make all of these changes. But I really think it's going to be very positive, and I just really appreciate everyone maintaining a positive attitude and staying flexible and helping along with this. So one thing I wanted to do, so the last email I sent out had some bullet points on what we wanted to talk about tonight. So I'm just going to give an overview of where we're at so far, and then some important things that members can do to take advantage of some of the good things about the change that we're having. So first of all, just to clarify the big changes, of course, the main one is that we're moving to our new location in Roseville, and we're just really excited about this facility, mainly, well, for two reasons, mainly because it's so convenient to get to, and then secondly, that it just sits on such a beautiful, lovely piece of property with green space. And I think I said in one of my letters, it's like, we didn't really realize how much we missed, being able to go out onto a yard until we looked at this property. So really excited about that. And the building itself, currently some rooms are being renovated, so we weren't really able to take pictures to show people of the different rooms, but we have some very large rooms, even larger than at St. Mark's, and then we have some that are smaller but adequate for a lot of our classes. Oh, we're seeing people. Hi. So we're really happy, and it's all in a separate education wing, which we'll be able to maintain good security with, and people will be entering right on the ground floor where we see them coming in, and that's the only way that they're going to come in, is at a single entrance, and we won't have any other groups there at the same time that we're there. So for a lot of those reasons, not to mention the safer neighborhood that it's in, we're just really pleased about the additional safety and security that this space offers us. So we feel more comfortable with all of that. Not that we had any issues so far at St. Mark's, but as things started to progress and we started thinking about a new location, and then I started talking to St. Mark's, it turns out that they have some other plans for the future of that building as well. So on both sides, it turned out to be a really good time to make that separation of our ways. And we're on very good terms with St. Mark's, and we're just trusting that on both sides, God is leading this way, and it's going to turn out best for all parties. So that's about the physical move. And then because of that, so there is another group that uses the space on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And that meant that we couldn't be there Wednesday. So we changed our Wednesday classes to Fridays. And that's probably the most disruption, I think, for most people, is having that day change. So people have been really great about that. And what we like about Fridays, even though, we understand maybe some people want to get a head start on the weekend sometimes and leave town early. And so maybe Fridays isn't the ideal day. But really, in the school year, maybe that doesn't apply to so many people as it does during like the summer. And then we also think Fridays then make a great day to wrap up the homeschooling week. And so we're saying Friday is Enrichment Day at MMA. And we have a whole slew of classes that fall into that enrichment category. And enrichment can include a lot of things. This is the extra classroom experience, the beyond the typical classroom experience. And the one thing I want to say first is that enrichment that we're saying classes on Fridays are enrichment, that doesn't mean that our regular classes on Mondays don't already include enrichment, because we try to do that, not have like you're sitting in your desk and getting info downloaded. That's never been our model. So even our regular classes, we feel, have a component of enrichment in them. But Fridays will be a day where we can specially focus on these other non-typical classroom experiences that really make they stand out to kids. And if you look back at your own memories of school, like it's a field trip, or it's some special speaker who came in, or it's some special group activity that you did. So these kind of things are the things that really stick in students' minds, and the learning really gets solidified through the experiences that they have. So those enrichment classes can include just going more deeply into an academic subject. So for those, we have Mr. Racer's civics classes, which are doing that. And we have the personal finance that Vicki is teaching for us. And what are some of the other academic? Then we have ways that you can go into study skills. So we've got our ACT prep and a study skills class. Then we have ways that you can explore careers, either by just our career exploration class, which Chris is teaching, or like dabbling in something you might want to do for a career. So we have graphic design, we have some technology classes like web design and web development, and so on. And then another part of enrichment are just kind of those fun classes. So we got photography, swing dancing, some art classes, and we've just added journalism, where we'll be asking students to join, and then they can put together a student newspaper as part of this class, and I'm running that one. So that one actually was a request that we have, and I'm like, okay, with our new little hour-long classes that we have on Friday, that's going to work really well. So we've added that journalism class. What did I miss for enrichment? So some acting classes, storytelling across mediums, and so on. So that's just a way to make those Fridays really be that extra thing. And it works well to cap off the homeschooling week and let's go do something fun. Let's go do something career oriented. Let's go do something that really takes us deeper into a specific subject. So I'm going to pull up our class schedule here and just review a couple of things. Okay, give me a minute. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, not seeing what I want.
You choose.
Would have been there.
You choose. Just choose share all. Choose share all screen and then select it. So click on here, desktop one.
Okay.
Okay. Choose share. Now find your app that you're looking for.
It's not there. Worked before when I tried it. It's on Safari, so I should be okay.
Sure.
Are people seeing the schedule now? Yes.
Yep, seeing the schedule.
All right. Well, let me show you something because it's been a challenge to get all of this up on the website. So we're still in process of a lot of things with that. But there are 3 different places where you'll find the schedule on the website, and there's only one place of the 3 that is up to date. So what you want to do is go to this register tab and then the register for classes tab. Okay. And then that way you're going to see all the Friday classes. some of the other register places, like if you just click register here, or if you click classes, you're going to get taken to a page that's not updated yet. So you want this register for classes page. Okay, so Monday, not very much has changed, but I do want to point out that group guitar has moved from Wednesday to Monday because our instructor, Chris DePoyen, can't do Fridays. Did I say that right? Has moved from Wednesdays to Monday instead of Wednesdays to Friday. So we have group guitar being offered first and second period on Mondays, which is new. Otherwise, the Monday classes, the only thing that you might notice is that there are some of these classes have lowered their tuition fees. So you want to check out NaNoWriMo, Craft Club, Minnesota History, Sci Girls have a lower rate, and WordSmart. And Vicki, did we change Econ and Me, the rate, or not? I think that one we might have stayed the same.
Yeah, and WordSmart is the same too. It's the
it's
Friday,
the Friday
WordSmart
ones that have
that's gonna
changed.
go
Okay.
down. Yeah. So
All
those
right.
two same.
Okay, so otherwise, most things, except that the tech classes have lower rates in these business classes. So Chris has passed on some lower fees there. So those would be things you'd want to look at on Monday. Then on Wednesday, or I'm sorry, on Friday, which used to be Wednesday, we have two sections of the schedule. So check out both of them. This first one is either classes that are 90 minutes long or 2 hours long in the case of American Government and Student Senate have an 8:30 start. Otherwise, all the classes are hour and a half, and they follow this time frame for the periods, except for a new class, which we just put up today, and we just brought on the new instructor for today, which is forensic science. And this is, I'm just so excited about this. The instructor wasn't able to join us tonight, but Vicki knows him well and connected us. And so his name is Dr. John Mock, and he has been he was a neurosurgeon for 25 years. Then he got his law degree, and he has many years of teaching high school science and other classes in a variety of different settings. So he's going to, he's willing to come on and teach this forensic science class. And this is like, I know students really love this because they like mystery and they like solving mysteries, right? Who doesn't? And so this is a type of science class. It'll be a high school science elective for 9th to 12th graders. It will fill that elective science class for high schoolers. If so, let's say they've taken biology and chemistry. They don't want to necessarily take physics. They're not a science major. And they can then have this class as an elective. So it's a full year class. It's going to be a lot of fun, very fascinating, interesting. So that one runs from 12 o'clock to 1:30. With our Friday classes, what we're trying to do is have most of them finish up pretty early in the day. So if people do want to get that early start on the weekend, they can do that. The classes that are running a little later are classes that parents can actually take with students. And that includes these two art classes with Suzanne Beck, Drawing Realistic Faces and Introduction to Children's Book Illustration in the fall and spring. And then also some 1 hour classes she has. Those are open to parents and students. And then our swing dancing class, which will just be in the fall with Joey Ray. And that one's open to parents too. So that'd be a pretty cool way to end the week. Come and take an art class with your student or come and take swing dancing with your student. So then we look at, oh yeah. Okay, so then all of these other classes, origami and you is a, whoopsie. How did I do that? Go back. Okay. I have to move this so I can get at that. I just need to get to the X that's over there.
You can move that.
Sorry. Can I move this?
What else? One more, but
There, that's the X I need to see. Okay, all right, I'm trying not to click on things. Okay, sorry about that. So the other thing I wanted to mention is the origami and you. That was a class that was added kind of late, and that'll be in the spring. But that is, of course, that art of paper folding. And that is an adult class as well. So students can, parents can join that with their students. Okay, then we have, let's go to the 1 hour classes. So one thought we had about Fridays is that if we're not trying to make these full academic classes, they don't have to meet the definition of a credit for the high school transcript necessarily. We're just trying to expose students to certain things or help them build certain skills here. So they don't necessarily have to be that 1.5 hours long to get in like 2 days of class time all at once. So we have some hour-long classes that we've created. So some of these were originally 1.5 hours and they've cut back to 1 hour. And that means that there's a lower tuition rate associated with them. So that applies to the ACT prep, creative writing workshop, and these tech classes. These were adult classes as well, only adults in these classes, bookkeeping for adults and tech readiness for adults. And then the web development, web design, career exploration, and online media production have all changed from 1.5 hours to hour-long classes. Same with acting, improv, storytelling, study skills, personal finance, the essay writing class. And then these two art class by Suzanne Beck, the fabulous fiber crafts and portraits and pastel pencil. Those are also open to parents to take with their students, and they're 1 hour classes with a lower tuition rate for the 1 hour. And then here's the new journalism class. So that will teach students some media literacy, and then also about how to write different types of articles, reporting, feature writing, and so on. And then students will be putting out a newspaper for Mid-Metro Academy. So they'll get some experience with the editing and the publishing and all of that. Okay. So if you all know how, I think you all know how the schedule works, but basically you click on the name of the class, and then it drops down with the description and allows you a chance to register if you are logged into your account. You have to be logged in to see the options of who can register for the class. If you are trying to register for a class as an adult, you're going to have to add yourself on your profile as a child. And then you'll see the option for you to take a class as an adult. Okay. So now how to take advantage of the
question.
Oh, question. All right. The question is forensic science a lab class? It is. So this is pretty exciting. There will be labs associated with that. Some of them are kind of digital labs, but there will be the time to do those actual laboratory things. So more specific information will be coming on that, but there will be a fee for the lab kit as well, which hasn't been decided yet. But yes, that would be a high school science with lab.
Another question.
Oh, and then, yes, thank you, Vicki. So I did not have a chance to add WordSmart. So let me pull that up again. So WordSmart is a class that we have on Monday, running in the spring. And Vicki, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about WordSmart. Oops, sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna offer that in the spring, on Mondays and, in the fall on,
Stop share.
Fridays. And WordSmart is I don't even know how to fully describe it, but it's about learning Greek and Latin roots and being able to apply that knowledge to all sorts of different disciplines and reading. And there'll be fun games, and we'll have some logic and some, we'll learn how to use a thesaurus and lots of things like that. But it'll mostly be learning Greek and Latin roots to really expand and open up vocabulary.
Yeah, and it might be tempting to think of that as an English class, but it is really so much more. It's about, as she said, critical thinking, and these words, they cross all disciplines. And it's a really interdisciplinary class because of that. So what we're going to do is have that so one section of it will be on where did it go? On Monday. Okay, right here, fourth period on Monday. And then this another section, which will actually be completely different content, that is going to be on the 1 hour classes right in here, 11 to 12. So sorry, I didn't get that added. We kind of just decided that this afternoon. So Vicki will have that in the fall. So in the fall, the same student could potentially take the fall class on Friday, WordSmart, and then also the Monday spring class, and it would be completely different content. So if it works to take both or not, it's not like one is a prerequisite for the other. So those will both be available. Thanks for mentioning that, Vicki. Okay, so now so for those classes that have had a lower tuition rate, if you have already signed up for a class that since you signed up, after you signed up, the tuition was lower, then you have to take some initiative to request the lower rate. And I did put that in the email I sent out yesterday. So basically you're going to write to the teacher and request the lower rate and copy me, which is director at Mid-Metro Academy. And then I will go in, and if you haven't paid, all I need to do is lower the tuition. But if you don't do that, the tuition that applied at the time that you registered is what remains on your invoice. Okay. And you might say, well, why doesn't Mid-Metro just go through and adjust those all for me? Because you may end up dropping that class and then we've done a lot of work for nothing. And also because it would be hard for us to track everybody down. It's just a lot of work that we would like you to take some initiative since you get to save the money. So you send us an email and then we will take it from there. If you did already pay for the class, you can still get the lower rate. That's a little more complicated, and we'll figure out either how to apply a credit to your next semester class. If there's an open invoice that we can apply a credit to, we'll do that. And that's really great because it saves the PayPal fees and nobody has to get stuck with those. However, if there's no way to work that out, then you'll just be straight up refunded the difference. So that's why I need to be involved and the teacher needs to be involved in case you have already paid, and then we'll get that refund issued. So any questions on that? I know it's kind of complicated, but going forward, the prices will be changed. But if you had already registered for something, then we'll figure out how to do that, right? And of course, you would be refunded for the PayPal fees on the difference too. So you will get the actual new fee, whether or not you've already paid. Okay. And we're really happy to be able to pass on those savings. Our teachers have been really sensitive to the fact that people are facing a lot of pressures from inflation and not keeping up. Income's not necessarily keeping up with the price increases. And so some of our teachers have been able to lower their fees for that. And Mid-Metro thought also by having those shorter classes where we can, that's another way that we can offer cheaper classes to our families too. So that is that. So okay, I don't see any other questions on that. Then now, the other thing that Mid-Metro is going to be able to do on Fridays, so to reward people for changing and being flexible with us and coming over to take some classes on Fridays, we're going to offer free study halls on Fridays to anybody who has is taking at least one class on a Friday. So how do you get that? You need to still go ahead and register for the study hall class that you want. We're not going to create 1 hour long study halls. So you'll have to find the 1.5 hour study hall that takes the period that you want, if it's just an hour that you need. But it's going to be free anyway, so it won't matter. So you sign up for that 1.5 hour long study hall that you need. And then what you'll need to do is email Heather. Is Heather online? Let's see, Heather. You can email help@midmetroacademy.com. And oh, hi, Heather. Okay, there's our help. Heather is our help at midmetroacademy.com. And she will credit back the cost of the invoice for the study hall. So you'll sign up for it, you won't pay. And then Heather, when she sees that you are signed up for a class that day, then she'll zero out that invoice for you. Okay, so free study halls on Friday to any student who is on campus for at least one other class. Okay. Oh, and then one more thing I wanted to mention, and that is just related to the opportunities that we have at Advent for maybe getting some social activities going for the students. So we tried at the beginning of last school year to have socials, and we had some parents who volunteered to set up kind of the social committee. And what we found are that students and families did not like to stay after school at St. Mark's, and they did not like to come in the evening to St. Mark's. And we have our thoughts about why that might have been the case, but probably a big one is that our people come from all around, and St. Mark's isn't necessarily perceived of as easy to get to or as somewhere that you want to go in the evening. But we think that that could be very different, especially now that our classes are getting done earlier on Fridays. So potentially, and I'm not going to head this up, but some volunteers could say, okay, we could put together a chess club, or did you know there are Scrabble clubs? I just saw this on a movie. I was like, wait, Scrabble clubs. Okay. What else is there that kids would, a game club, like the board game thing. Like if let's say they have class until 1:30 on Friday, and we actually have the space until 4 o'clock. So for those who wanted to say, let's stay a little bit later and have some social time at the end of the week and hang out with our friends and make some friends, we can do that. And there's a fellowship hall there that is a fantastic space that students could use. And there's also the lawn and the playground. And then across the street, there's a park with ball fields, and there's another park with walking trails. So those are some options that we have where parents and students could step up and say, let's do some socializing things. And we would not have to pay for the space like we would have had to at St. Mark's, right? So those are things Heather and I probably Heather and I and the board will talk about. So if you have an idea like that and something you want to do, it would have to be cleared. It's not like we're going to just have people deciding to hang out there. So we have to approve that and sanction it. And let people know about it. But those are some opportunities that we think the space offers us that we didn't have the capability to do at St. Mark's. Okay, I
People
think.
could tell people how to unmute if they do want to ask a question right now.
Okay, so if people want to ask a live question, you can unmute yourself. I think you can all see your microphone in the lower left of your screen, and you do have the capability of unmuting yourself. So you can ask a question audibly, or you can type a question into the chat box. So, or it doesn't have to be a question. It could just be a comment. Anybody wants to comment, teachers or our members or friends that have joined.
Let's answer all the questions.
Okay. So has everything been clear then? The emails and what information I just gave you now.
I think there's a question in the chat
All right.
from Heather, like leads
Okay.
on a history teacher.
Are there any leads on a history teacher? So Michaela Swedland had taught history for a semester the year before last year?
Yeah,
Last year, and then had to leave in the middle of the year. So she's not going to be able to come back this year, 23-24, because of the age of her kids, but she said she wants to come back the next year. So in 24-25, then we'll be able to offer that American history class again that she was teaching. Yes, Dave.
I was thinking about something. I've been doing this, it'll be 25 years this fall now. And we started in a little Baptist church that was really, really crowded. It was an awful lot of fun being crowded, but it was very limited. We got kind of excited to move to the big buildings and have space. And yet I have to say that it never felt the same. It felt, I don't know, a little sterile and dark and so forth. And I haven't seen the place yet, but I've seen the pictures, and it kind of excites me to be in a learning situation where there's light and light colors and maybe a happier place to be, where you feel a little safer and so forth. I'm excited about this. It was a unique challenge to move to Fridays and thinking that through. I'm an old guy, and so I get stuck in my ways, but I think it's going to be an absolutely tremendous opportunity. I'm excited for all of us who are teaching and the students. I think that there's an opportunity here for education that is so unique for homeschool students, and I'm just hoping and praying that our clients, our parents, and our students will spread the word, because they're going to get an awful good deal from these really good teachers. And so I'm excited and can't wait to get to see my room.
You have an amazing room. So the room, it's the science room. So Kay,
look at the dingy one behind me, you see. So some days it was freezing, some days it was so hot I couldn't breathe. And so I'm pretty excited about that. I don't mean to badmouth what we've been doing. We've been doing a great job teaching in that environment, I think. So this would just be I think a giant step forward. So thank you. Thanks for all your work. Holy smokes. It's amazing.
You're welcome, but it was really the Lord who put it all together. We started looking June 1st for a new place, and I had many rejections. It felt like, dating. No, they're rejecting me again. And a lot of places were like, well, we could maybe think about this for the following year, but you're saying you want to do it this year, and so that is pretty unheard of to get through the machinations that a church has to get through to approve something like that. Most of them were churches. They were all churches that we were looking at. And I really felt like, you know, the sign was of the Lord, because first of all, it took like literally 1 minute for the pastor to say to me after he heard my 1 minute spiel, so I think we can fit you in. He's like, you mean this fall? And I was like, okay, and now I'm just going to be, here comes the rejection. So I'm like, yes, I mean this fall. He's like, I think we can fit you in. So, so that was a miracle right there. And then that was a week ago Friday. And then last Friday, I signed the lease. So 7 days to get the lease signed. So when God wants something to happen, it just moves along beyond what we can think or imagine, right? So a couple of questions here. Is there a science lab or a classroom set up for lab? So I was starting to say that. So the largest room we have is South 3, and it's larger than any room we have at St. Mark's. That's going to be our science class. And it has water in the room. Yay. And it's got linoleum floors, so if spills happen, that's going to be fine too. Full wall of windows, very nice room. That'll be Kay's room on Mondays for all the science classes. Our forensic science will be in there on Fridays, and then Mr. Racer will have that spacious room on Friday mornings for his classes. Okay, so. And all the rooms have wonderful light, and it's just so nice being on like the ground floor, you know, and you look out and you're right there. People will be walking in. So there's something like if you, so August 7th, we'll have an on-site open house. So I hope you can all attend to that, and also bring a friend, because we're going to have our teachers have their tables set up, and people can learn about the classes if they haven't signed up for everything yet. But when you just come on the property, it's just this feeling of just peace and serenity and calm. It's just lovely. I don't even know how to describe it. And then across the street is a park, and behind part of the property is wooded. And then that butts up to Cottontail Park, which has a walking path. And there's across one street, there is a house, but it's kind of shielded by trees. So you just feel like, you know, not isolated in a bad way, but some little good isolation that is like, it's just, this is our little learning enclave here. So very nice. Yeah, so it's 3000 Hamlin Avenue in Roseville. It's a mile. So it's the same, if you're coming on Snelling, it's the same intersection where Northwestern College is. So Northwestern College, you would turn left on Lydia, and you'd be right at Northwestern College. And then if you turn, or sorry, if you're depends which direction you're going. So, but anyway, yeah, turn west, and then if you turn east on Lydia, then go about 1.25 miles, and you'll come to Advent Church there. Okay. Rebecca bikes past there